Johnny Scorpion, occult detective.
All right. So, what is actually going on? Not the cult.
No, we're waiting for this dude to leave so we can investigate.
Okay.
Well,
So he is gone at this point.
I was gonna say, can we just bribe this guy to leave?
Yeah, I was about to say I wanted to check if in Blade Territory like bribery was legal, but okay.
Yeah. No, they don't stick around for very long because all they're basically doing is trying to see if they can find a weapon, and they've found what they feel like is evidence enough. So.
Did that dude attack with a weapon last night, guys? I don't remember.
Yes, he had a weapon. I had to disarm him.
Okay.
He was using dual kukri.
All right, so you guys have your run of the crime scene at this point.
Okay. All right.
Well,
So what do we?
Three separate crime scenes, right? Or
yes,
was it all
but the whole area was basically roped off as the crime scene.
Oh my!
Labeled the crime scene at that.
How do we get ourselves into being crime investigators again? Is this the theme?
Yep.
Crime finds its way to you.
It's a world full of crime.
What would the closest crime scene be?
So there were a few tents where stuff had gone down. So you can pick any one of the four. It's 4 total tents if I remember correctly, because there were 3 victims and one perpetrator.
Time for the perpetrator. Huh.
But yeah,
What
I mean,
does
I
everybody
think we
think?
would just whichever one's closest. So I mean, I assume it'd be one of the tents.
Hold on, she's just not. This is not doing anything.
Watch out, guys!
So
He's
about
gonna
this
Linity
cult.
the
Oh.
cat.
All right, sorry.
Can I do a sense motive on the crime scene?
No.
Can I do a perception on the crime scene?
Yes.
No, sense motive. See what the motive of the crime scene is.
Oh, well, that didn't go great.
I believe the crime scene's motives are less than honorable.
You can see that the crime scene is clearly there.
Is there anyone around the crime scene that we could talk to?
There are refugees that are starting to move back into position that were all being held back beyond the line. The crime scene has no motive. There you go.
What does Meg perceive?
All right, so Meg, as you are roaming about things, you will notice. Where would 22 put you? Sorry, now the cat is trying to be distractive. Again.
Do you want me to come out there?
I don't know.
Do you want me to come out there and take care of the cats? I'll be there.
I'm just trying to make sure
45
she's
hours.
not going to eat a power cable and get herself electrocuted. Hazel, you gotta... No, hold on. Stop.
Why do you guys
Stop.
put catnip on the cables? That's what I don't understand.
Stop.
She wouldn't,
Stop.
she wouldn't go for the cables if you guys didn't smear them with cat food.
No.
It just seems like a bad idea.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh,
It's not
sweet
doing any
pea.
good. Stop. Just calm down. Just calm down.
That cat is saying, every time it meows, that
Calm
cat is
down.
saying, "You're not dad."
I'm not gonna listen to you.
I don't gotta listen to you. You're not my real dad, Steven.
Come here. Come here. Yes. Calm down. Calm down. Crazy is not necessary.
Yes, it is.
I'm saying Hazel disagrees with you on that
I
one.
mean, I'm starting to think so.
Sweetie, when you say just calm down, it's like Pete saying just be happy. It doesn't work.
You need to help that cat self-actualize. So every day, ask the cat what its goals are and what you can do to help the cat those
No,
goals.
you cannot eat cables. You cannot eat cables.
The meow was actually pretty good. You could not eat cables.
Alright, hold on. She's
I hear you
getting
say that,
exceptionally
but-
bad. Alright. So, on a 22 perception, one of the things that you will notice is that the tent of each of the victims seems to have none of the items in it. Like, they seem to, beyond the fact that most of these people don't have a lot of belongings, there's like no sign that anybody was even sleeping here. The bedding is gone. Any like personal effects the people might have had are not there. There's no like signs of food. It's like somebody came in and cleaned out the whole area as well.
So we're not going to be able to get
Aside
much.
from blood, there's plenty of blood in the area.
Oh man, does this look like the job of the policia, or does this look like it's been robbed thoroughly?
It almost
Would
looks
there
like
be
it
a
was
way to-
robbed before whoever got killed in here was killed.
Huh.
But like robbed of everything, because the rest of the tents have like bedrolls at the very least, or like some kind of fabric that they can lay on. And there might be like bits and pieces of food, but it's like somebody came in, rolled up the bedroll, like scrubbed everything else out, and then like killed somebody in the tent. Because there's no like, there's no missing blood, like the blood is everywhere that it should be.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll detect magic, see if there's anything in here that glows.
Okay. When you run your detect magic, you notice that where there is a space where like there should be what looks like a bedroll, but it for some reason is not visible. Like it looks almost as if somebody casted invisibility on it, maybe, or some sort of other illusory magic. Like you can tell because there's something that like has the outline in that space, like a magical outline of a bedroll. So you can kind of see like magical energy from where a bedroll should be.
Alright, I'll like spellcraft just to make sure that it's maybe not something super dangerous before I try and open it.
Yeah. So you you look very closely at the area, and then you kind of start noticing like all the ground almost looks magical.
Mm-hmm.
And then give me a perception with that spellcraft.
Hold on.
Alright.
Come on.
You're like looking at this blood pretty close. This something about this blood seems weird.
Come on.
Anybody else have detect magic? This blood kind of looks weird.
It's not really detect magic. Like, you're sure it's not magic, because the blood is actually there on the ground. But where it's at, it's kind of like having this weird
Kinda
effect.
hovering?
Like, you can see the magic kind of... Yeah, almost.
Okay. Yeah, I'll point that out, and then I'll try and unravel the invisible bedroll.
Okay. So you start playing with the invisible bedroll, and you can move it like there's a bedroll there.
What does it feel like? Does it feel like a bedroll?
It does feel like a bedroll.
All right, and this was the only thing that was glowing, right? Like it doesn't seem like all various furniture and whatnot in here like turned invisible.
It was the bedroll, and there's like a thin layer of like the ground that looks like it's got like a soft, faint glow that could be like a residual energy. With your spellcraft 15, it's really hard to tell. Like, you know, there's some illusion magic at work here, but you don't know exactly what kind of illusion magic.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll just try and touch the spot in the ground then. See if my hand goes through.
Hex,
or...
you're kind of in the same place. Give me a will save against it.
Oh.
I actually should have rolled that in secret, but whatever. I'll let you roll it. It seems solid.
Alright, there's some weird glowy ground here, but I don't know.
Let me double check something about detect magic and make sure I'm not forgetting something. No, okay. I am correct here. Alright. Oh, we lost Charles.
Oh yeah, he said wait a minute or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I keep trying to experiment with this while he's
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, maybe if I stand on it with my entire body over it, like how big is it? Is it like a 5 foot square?
It's the full size of the tent. So it's about probably like 8 feet by 5 feet, somewhere around there.
Okay, it's the entire floor that looks.
It's the entire ground of the tent.
So, I guess I'll look around outside the tent. Like, it doesn't extend at all outside the tent?
It doesn't extend at all outside of the tent.
Okay, and if I like... How, like, are you able to, like, lift up these tents at all? Like, how are these...
Yeah, the tents are basically just laid out regular tents.
Okay, so I'll look underneath the tent and see if the ground looks like that underneath it.
Okay, as you pick up the tent, you do notice that the under part of the tent is not that way. But you can see that there is a flooring to the tent, and the flooring to the tent is also not magical. So whatever it is on the inside of the tent.
Okay.
These tents have an actual, like, kind of floor connected to the bottom at its 4 points when you lay it down.
Alright, so maybe it's something if I get into the bedroll. So I'll get into the bedroll entirely.
Okay. So you start to get into the bedroll. And, are you going in head first, or are you going in feet first?
Oh, wow.
Feet first, it's a regular...
Okay.
That's how I would get into a bedroll.
So you can tuck yourself into the bedroll. And it feels a little bit weird. Give me kind of a... This be... Give me a perception.
Did you want one of us to kiss you on the forehead, Tom?
Okay, so you recognize immediately what this is. Like, you don't get a lot of interactions with extra-dimensional space, but you're, like, you feel like the lower part of your body right now is kind of, like, been stuffed into a bag of holding, but, like, the top part of your body's still hanging out. It's got, like, this kind of weird, stretchy feeling, like your body's slowly drifting into being intangible.
Okay.
But it's still there. Like, you can still feel yourself move your arms, but when you move them, they move way differently than they would, than, like, your head moves. Like, the feeling is totally different.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll get out of it, and then, yeah, I'll go in head first and look around.
Okay.
Do we notice anything unusual?
Yeah, so as he climbs into this bedroll, like, the lower half of his body disappears.
Okay.
And then he turns around and he goes in head first and just starts disappearing into the ground.
Huh.
Alright, so...
Should we be concerned?
I'm going to come back to you in just a moment, Tom.
Okay.
What are the other three of you doing?
Well, I'm watching that with amazement.
Also,
And
oh yeah, detect magic is a 0th level spell. So, sorry. I was gonna say take off a spell point, but yeah, you don't need to.
should we tie a rope to him or anything like that?
He just crawled on in there.
I'm gonna look in the basket in the bedroll. What do I see?
You don't see a bedroll.
Oh, he does.
Yes, because he had detect magic on.
Yeah, and our bard also sees it with her detect magic.
Should we
Oh, did
see
you
if one of
turn on your detect magic as well, Pax?
Yeah.
How do I-
well,
how do I turn that on?
You would
'cause
just
you
say
were
you're
doing the
using detect
perception
magic.
also.
Yeah, I did a perception.
Okay, that's not
Wasn't
necessarily
great,
with
but-
your detect magic, but yeah, you were doing the
I did a spellcraft.
yeah, but you weren't you didn't say you were using detect magic when you did that spellcraft.
Okay.
Details matter.
She was doing it after my suggestion of doing it, though. I said
That is true. So you can have your detect magic on if you want to have your detect magic on.
I want to see if any of the priests are around to ask them if they know anything about this.
No, the priests have largely stepped out of this operation now that you have the werewolves handling the trafficking of the food.
Huh.
Can we talk to some of the bystanders?
Sure. So you
Who's
can,
around?
there's quite a few different people here.
Is there any markings on this tent to let us know whose tent it was?
No. None of the tents really have anything. Some tents have some tents have some things that people have put out in front of them or like they have inside of them. But for the most part, like refugees just kind of have laid claim to whatever tent they were given, and what that space is their space.
Huh.
Why, hello there, stranger.
Hey, what you doing?
We're trying to figure out what happened here.
Yeah, it looks like 3 of them got whacked.
Did you know the person who stayed here?
Not really new. You know, I know him as well as I know any other Vinny.
What was his name?
Vinny?
What did he look like?
You know, typical Vinny.
No, tell me.
I don't know. I mean, he's a Vinny, you know?
Huh.
Do you know what happened?
I didn't see nothing.
You know what I
Okay.
saw, my friend? I saw some shiny gold coins. You see those? I'm going to take out a gold piece. Perhaps you could look at this gold, and the reflection of the gold will help you to remember if you saw anything.
Oh, you know, sometimes when I look into shiny things, I do. It's like a reflecting pool, you know.
Yeah, you're like a diviner.
Can I see it? He's sticking out
Sure.
his hand.
Yeah. I hand him a gold piece.
All right, and he like stares at it for a minute, trying to make it look like he's like looking into like some other distant realm of space.
What do your elven eyes see?
And he kind of leans in and he's looking at the gold. I mean, if I were some sort of person who could see beyond sight, I would probably see something like three wisecracking Vinnies that get it better than everybody else, and nobody's really sure why.
Get it better than anybody else.
That seem to be in some sort of special protected status, getting food when they want, having some alcohol here and there when they don't have access to it otherwise. Then all of a sudden, they get whacked, and they disappear, you know? That's what I might see if I had some sort of visionary powers to see in this coin, you know? But I don't have any visionary powers, so I should probably just skedaddle, you know?
Yeah, you know any other Vinnies that know anything else?
I mean, Vinnies are Vinnies, you know? I don't really know anything, so they probably don't really know anything, you know?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time and your divinery skills.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't help. I'm not really a good diviner. I can just, like, say what I think I would see if I had the ability to see into coins, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You can only do what you can only do.
Yeah. Good luck on whatever you're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna crack this case wide open.
All right.
So
I'm gonna cut
what
to
did I get
Tom
for my
real
gold coin?
quick. Huh?
I said no, I was gonna go ahead. Go to Tom.
Oh no, go ahead. What were you asking? Go ahead. That's fine.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna address my cohorts actually.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's actually continue that. We'll jump to Tom in a second. Go ahead. I want to hear what you would say. What you're gonna tell them.
Okay, so they were getting special food and alcohol. You guys think they were under like witness protection or?
We must have had some kind of special deal.
Yeah, some connections or something.
They got special snacks.
I
wonder if that's why they got murdered.
They're disrupting the world order?
Or maybe they betrayed whoever was giving them the special privileges.
Yeah. Huh.
You think we should talk to more people to see if anyone else knows anything? Or you think it's going to all be about the same?
Maybe the leader of the camp.
It's a good idea.
Alright, so let's cut to Tom real quick.
Okay.
You've crawled up into this blanket. So you're... Give me a spellcraft here as you kind of move inside, and you've got your detect magic going. Alright, so you move inside. Immediately, you recognize that you're moving into some extra-dimensional space. And inside of here, there is a dagger, a small stack of about 5 silver pieces, a bottle of some kind of, like, probably cheap wine. It's not labeled, but you can smell it, and it smells like wine. And it's very familiar to, like, the extra-dimensional space here feels very similar to what you would usually see in, like, a rope trick spell. It's a very small, kind of confined extra-dimensional space, but it has, like, more room than it would normally have if you were outside of this. And it's very private.
Huh.
Is the dagger, like, bloody? Is this potentially the murder weapon?
No, this dagger is not bloody.
Is it like, does it look like masterwork, or does it look like just a basic,
It's a pretty basic dagger.
Okay.
But, like, looking about the camp, having a dagger is pretty much unseen amongst the rest of the people here. A lot of these people don't even have enough, like, some of them barely have enough money to have a small pot to cook, like, some of the food that comes through here. Let alone somebody having a dagger here to, like, actually work with the stuff.
Okay.
And definitely not wine. Nobody here has wine. Even cheap wine.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess after seeing everything in here, I'm gonna try and get out of it.
Okay.
Am I able to, or am I stuck in here?
No, you're able to kind of find your way back. You go back to where you crawled in it, and you kind of climb through it like you would if you were leaving a rope trick.
Yeah, I'll bring the stuff with me. The dagger, silver, and wine.
Okay.
I'm adding the silver to my character sheet, though.
Sure. And yeah, you can go find the party who've just finished up questioning somebody.
All right. Well, I'm gonna carry the that, like, bedroll extra dimensional space with me.
Okay. When you go to pick it up, it won't move.
Okay. So the suspicions of it being like a rope trick is pretty much confirmed at that point.
Yep. It's not exactly rope trick. This is a slightly different iteration of this that I've come up with. But it's very close.
Rope trick gives you like a house or something, right?
Rope trick gives you... Here, I'll pull up rope trick real quick.
What is rope trick?
It is a low-level spell that... I'll describe the spell.
Yeah,
when the spell is cast on a... Yeah, when this spell is cast upon a piece of rope from 5 to 30 feet long, one of the rope rises into the air until the whole rope hangs perpendicular to the ground, as if affixed to the upper end. The upper end is in fact fastened to an extra-dimensional space that is outside the usual multiverse of extra-dimensional spaces. Creatures in the extra-dimensional space are hidden beyond the reach of spells, unless those spells work across planes. The space holds as many as 8 creatures, the rope cannot be removed or hidden, the rope can support up to 16,000 pounds, a weight greater than that can pull the rope free. Spells can't be cast about it. People can see out of it by 3 foot by 5 foot. The window is invisible, and even creatures that can see the window can't see through it. Anything inside the extra-dimensional space drops out when the extra-dimensional space ends. The rope can be climbed by only one person at a time. The rope trick spell enables climbers to reach a normal place if they do not climb all the way to the extra-dimensional space.
Okay.
So in this case, it wasn't enough to hold 8 people. The room you were in, Tom, felt like it was barely enough to fit one person.
There was a window I could see out of it, though?
The window would be the hole that you could see outside.
Okay.
So all you would see is basically the outside of the inside of the tent looking through that. That's how you're able to find your way back.
Yeah, I'll find the party.
Yep. Alright, so Zug comes walking up to you as you finish interrogating, or asking the questions to that...
Yeah, just to say, that was barely an interrogation.
Yeah.
Bribing would be more likely.
No, money makes a Vinny talk.
Yeah, it's true. So we talked to one of the local Vinnies, and he told us that the people in this tent were getting special food, were getting special beverages, but they weren't supposed to be, or they didn't know why they were. I couldn't really tell.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I found too. Well, let's move to where the Vinnies can't overhear.
Okay. All right.
All right, so you guys can head down the road a little ways.
All right. Yeah, like, so what was in there was this kind of like modified rope trick, and I found stuff like a dagger, cheap wine, and whatnot hidden in there. So pretty much, it seems that not only were they getting special treatment, but they have access to like some sort of magic, such as that's like a modified rope trick. So I don't know if they're spellcasters themselves or if they just have a spellcast. Well, so for a rope trick, is that like a thing you can cast for other people?
Rope trick is you basically the normal way that you would use rope trick is you just cast the rope trick and it creates that extra dimensional space with the rope attached.
Okay, yeah. So either these guys are spellcasters or they had a spellcaster creating them a safe space to sleep in or something, store objects in. Do I know the normal duration of a rope trick?
Normally, rope trick is only a few hours.
Yeah, normally it only lasts a few hours, but this one, I don't know, seems to be either permanent or lasts much longer.
Can a rope trick be made permanent?
A rope trick cannot necessarily... I guess, theoretically, maybe.
But yeah,
Should
maybe...
we go look at the other tents before we talk to somebody in charge? That way we have a pattern.
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, we should look at the other 3. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go on to tent number 2.
All right, so if you investigate the other 2 victims' tents, they basically have the same layout, with one of the other tents having 4 gold, or 4 silver rather, and the other tent having 1 silver.
They all had daggers and wine?
They all had a dagger and wine.
Unless somebody else went down, I'm taking these 5 more silvers.
Nope.
I'm writing it on my sheet, 5 more silvers.
Okay.
All yours.
All yours, Judas.
All right.
There's actually one thing I'm realizing I'm forgetting. There is also a rolled out bedroll in each one. So their bedroll is still there.
All right, and this was in just the 3 victims, or the 3 victims and the.
This is just in the 3 victims' tents.
Okay, and then.
So we were in the murderer's tent first.
You guys had glanced past the murderer's tent the first time you came through here, but you've been in the other 3. These 3 tents that you're looking at right now, starting with the first one Tom looked at, was the first victim tent.
Oh.
So that was the first big thing that that Meg had noticed, was that this tent and 2 of the other tents were different than all the rest of the tents here.
All right, and for the wine, like, is it like any brand, or is it in like a clear bottle?
It's in like a kind of brownish bottle, and there's no label on the wine.
But it's for sure it's wine, right?
It smells like wine.
I'm gonna try it out, Tom. I'm gonna take a swig.
Okay.
All right, Zug, give me a bottle of that. I'm feeling like getting wasted, or what? Take one off the wrist. Go ahead.
You take a sip, and it is cheap. It is some cheap, probably like goblin wine. If goblins make wine, this is pretty bad.
This is a pretty lousy wine.
But it tastes strong.
It's really strong. I feel kind of warm and flush.
Mm-hmm.
Or after I see he's not dying, I'll take a extremely small.
Stop misgendering Meg.
I'm proud to be a gal. All right, you're gonna slam it down then, Zug?
No, Zug doesn't really drink, so he's just, for the purposes of investigation, I want to just be able to maybe have some way to identify this later on.
Okay.
So I just do like a swish it around then spit it out type of wine tasting.
Yeah, that is almost an unmistakably bad flavor. I guess actually to you that would be more of a passable flavor. Having a goblin palate, this is sort of more suited to a goblin palate. So this would taste okay to you. It tastes horrible to Meg, okay to you.
All right. And I guess we should take a closer look at these daggers. Any like identifying markings as to maybe the blacksmith, anything like that?
No, these are very, very plain.
Okay.
These almost look like somebody just has like almost a drop forge template that they're doing this with.
All right, and like search through the bedrolls, make sure there's nothing hidden in them.
Okay, yeah, the bedrolls are empty.
Okay. Well, I guess we should investigate the murderer's tent now.
Okay.
Okay.
When you go in there, that looks like a pretty ordinary tent.
He has furniture and stuff.
He has like his own bedroll laid out. There's some bits and pieces of like food lying around the tent. There's nothing else of note within his tent.
You said food lying around?
Yeah, he's got like little bits of like food that he's taken a few bites of, but wants to like it's shelf stable for a little while. So like maybe he had it before he went to sleep, took a couple of bites, and then put it on like the floor next to him, and then laid down in his bed.
What type of food?
It is a hunk of cheese.
Okay, so and like the demon things that possessed him, or actually we don't know what possessed him, right?
You're not exactly sure what possessed him. No.
Okay, so. So maybe it was some sort of cheese-eating demon. I don't know.
The demon that ate cheese.
You know what? I thought of macaroni and cheese for some reason.
So I rule out anything that doesn't eat cheese.
It's actually it's just very angry because we sold the 6 cheese.
Oh, that's why it came after us.
Oh shit! Yeah. We were so happy to have that cheese.
That
It
was a
massive.
different game.
Oh, okay.
But it knew. It knew.
And now it's come for us.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna look underneath all their tents too, just to make sure
Okay.
if there's nothing hidden under there or anything like that.
Yeah, there's nothing underneath the tents.
Okay. So
Should we talk to some more of the try and find the master of the camp?
yeah.
Okay, you won't get much more out of him.
Huh.
Great.
Just
There's the head guy, which is actually one of the guys that you're paying, and he'll kind of give you the same story the other Vinny did earlier if you talk to him outside of the camp. That for some reason these guys were getting some kind of special treatment. They never really figured out a how, but whenever anybody would get in their face, there would be some sort of problem that would happen with people getting like their food or whatever. Or somebody would end up beat up afterwards. So there's always something bad that happened. So people just stopped kind of asking questions.
So it wasn't this like leader of the refugees that was giving them favors. It was somebody from outside of the refugee camp.
Yeah. The guy that you guys were paying well was not the one taking care of these guys.
Okay.
And he's kind of like de facto leader. There's not like a real camp leader. This is just the guy who happens to have been given the resources by you guys. And so he's kind of gotten a little bit of pull here in the camp.
So has there been anyone who wasn't a refugee like hanging around this camp recently, like the full-fledged blades or anything like that?
Nope, not unless you count you guys and the people bringing the food, the werewolves, and the cart rider.
Okay.
But he's Rezix.
Who would be giving them food?
I mean
it could be anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect some sort of spellcaster based on those rope trick things, but maybe casting invisibility to get into the camp.
All right, let me take a pause here real quick, and let's jump to Harcourt. It is getting to be early evening, by the way, for the rest of you,
I'm gonna go take that.
as we jump back to Harcourt. The door finally opens, and standing across from you as the door opens is, I need her name. Damn it, where's her name? Akunsaunt notes, why do you always do this to me?
The adamantium golem. It's here.
blood golem. Panthergast, run
Oh,
for
I think
it.
I actually, is Tensi.
Yes.
Of Tensi's floating disc fame?
She looks really, really messed up. There is a lot of, like, blood coming down her face and her neck. There's a lot of scratches across her chain. And she is breathing heavily as she finally gets the door open.
So, did it go well?
It went. We got ambushed. There were 7 of them. We tried to pull a retreat once we realized. At first it looked like there were 3. And we know 3 is a little tough. We thought maybe this will be a bit of a challenge. We started pulling back a little bit as we fought them. And 2 more showed up behind us. And we were getting quite overwhelmed. We started making a more hasty retreat, and another pair seemed to almost phase in behind us. We managed to make it out, but not Not well.
Did everybody make it?
We all made it. It was close. A couple of hits extra, and I'm pretty sure either myself or Delotak wouldn't have made it.
Well, maybe we should get you up to bed then. Wash you up and get these wounds taken care of real quick.
Harcourt, you get a message on your bottle. Where are you? From Zug.
I glance down at it and I put it back in. I dig out my only potion of healing. I do have one, right? I thought I wrote it in here. I had one, right? Where is it? Ah, yeah, I got a potion of cure light.
Okay. She will reject your potion and say, Vlasta will take care of me in the morning. I need to rest. It's been a very exhausting day. And I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to have made it back. We were trying to get out, I was very worried we wouldn't make it and you'd be trapped in here. It would have been miserable to have not only cost my party the ability to be here, but also somebody as interesting as you.
Well, I probably would have figured something out.
It would have been impressive if you would have.
I'll tell you about that story later on.
Oh my.
So I'll help her up to her room to get her and then I will respond to my bottle.
Okay. She thanks you and gives you a kiss of appreciation.
Oh my.
Oh my. Everything's coming up hardcore.
She let you know that she'd like to make it a little more than that, but right now the excessive blood loss is probably would probably make that a little difficult.
What do you think the potion of cure light was for? Okay.
That still doesn't stop the pain.
I'll cut myself, it'll be even.
Will you cut your life into pieces?
Only if it's his last resort.
Nice.
It'll get me laid.
Oh Lord. There's children and impressionable gnomes listening to this.
Mostly impressionable gnomes.
Impressionable gnomes.
All right. So, what are you responding to his message with?
Just got out of bed. How can I help?
Just got out of bed.
Alright. Hey guys. Harcourt's alive. I'm gonna tell him it's at the refugees.
What?
Okay. Harcourt, you get back, visit the refugees.
Where's he at?
On me way.
He was shacking up with some lady, wasn't he?
Probably.
I will head to the camp.
Okay. You'll get back in roughly half hour.
Boom, 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 boom.
And yeah, you can find the party hanging out at the refugee camp.
So what are we doing here?
Just outside the refugee camp, but they call you over when they see you.
I have Kit here with me. She wants to know if she can play a character.
So what are we doing? What have you been doing since I was sleeping?
Trying to find what's happened with all these murders.
Well, first we went looking for you. Then we were told some very confusing thing about you'll show up when you're supposed to show up, and if a tree falls in a forest, will anybody be there to talk about it or something?
I'll be there to talk about it.
And then I went to the temple and was told just to carry on with my investigation. So we're here and we're investigating some tents, and
okay.
I bribed somebody who didn't know much.
Did we find any evidence of possession in any of the tents, or temple-like sacrificial thingies that you would use for possession, or?
Well,
Talking about the
About
road
that?
trip.
yeah, some of the victims seem to be affiliated with a spellcaster or were spellcasters due to this modified rope trick we found.
So, do we think they were victims or just no longer usable?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, I'd say, depends on if they were spellcasters or they were assisting a spellcaster. Because
What-
if they were spellcasters, maybe they're involved with some sort of some cult, like with the altar that we found underneath the shop. Or if they were being assisted by a spellcaster, they might just have been planned sacrifices, something like that.
Well, okay. Little side note, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but for some reason, I'm going to think it is. That other party we were with. I was speaking to some of them, and they went on a mission yesterday, and just got back just a little while ago. They went to go investigate some displacer beasts that were being overly territorial. So there's belief that those displacer beasts were most likely being controlled. Well, they went to go handle a few and wound up getting ambushed. So I'm wondering if beings being controlled isn't just a human thing here.
Okay. Yeah. Because that would
But I
have
haven't
been.
been able to do anything about it because I was asleep.
So yeah, that would have been taking place at like the same time, the possession here and the possession of the displacer beasts, because they were.
No, it happened later. The possession of the displacer beast stuff happened later. Because your stuff happened overnight. In the morning when you guys went to bed, that was when their Burian's party went to the
So
Goblin territory to deal with the displacer beasts. And then
Okay,
it
so
took them a
wasn't
while to get back to get James out because they were trying to make it back alive.
Okay.
So the question, I don't know. So we have
They-
no evidence of any kind of possession. I don't know how possession works. And maybe if we go talk to maybe the temple or something, and see if we could figure that out with whatever items you found, and see if we can track this Chevy Bin Laden dude.
Chevy Bin Laden.
All right.
Where were the displacer beasts?
So one thing I do wanna bring up that you guys might have forgotten from last time that you guys did realize, and that is the whole chain of the domino effect you could cause if you give information to the wrong people.
Right.
Because the wrong investigation could result in some kind of large scale break of agreement, or one family starting to go after another family.
Right. You're right. Quick question.
Yes.
Is there any? No, I'm talking to.
Okay.
I'm talking to Zach. Are there any remains of any kind?
The law enforcement took those away.
No. I
we
mean
were able-
bodily.
Oh, there's blood
There's blood. Where's
Uh-huh.
the tents?
right over here. I'll bring
Okay.
them over to the tent.
I'm gonna put on the monocle and look at the blood.
Okay.
Can I see the blood through the monocle?
When you put on the monocle, you do see the blood. You also see a weird outline on the floor beneath the blood of the bottom of the tent, and then what looks like a bedroll.
So, okay, there's a bedroll right here. Did you see
Yeah,
this?
that's the modified rope trick that you can go into. That's why I had that spellcaster theory.
Okay.
Have you ever anybody seen an item like this before? This is not just something you just see. I mean, we see a lot of magic, but in a bedroll, this seems kind of extravagant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also really suspicious that it's either permanent or lasting this long. So I
Huh.
mean, that's some powerful magic.
Yeah, I was
Doesn't help.
gonna ask.
Yeah, it just had these daggers, cheap wine, and bedrolls on the inside. Pretty much was a safe place for them to sleep. I mean,
And
I don't know
drink
why
cheap
they weren't
wine.
sleeping in there when they got killed. Or was it... Or actually, if we were getting ready to sleep when we got attacked, maybe that happened way before that. Before they would have been sleeping.
Yeah, it's hard to tell unless one of you has ranks in heal and could potentially tell like how old this blood was.
Nope.
Oh, yes, I do. I didn't know you could do that with heal. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so you're looking at the age of the blood that's kind of sitting here on the ground. The blood's been here for quite some time. This 19.
Don't you have it too, Meg?
I am. I'm still waiting for the window to open up.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Because the blood might not be from murder.
Oh, there's another Meg here. What the hell just happened?
She cloned herself.
I cloned myself. I've converted to necromancy.
One Meg,
and
please.
cloned.
Only one Meg.
Oh.
Was there one of these rope trick beds under the murderer's tent too?
No.
No, just the other three.
Okay. So between the two of you, you'll be able to surmise that the blood probably was probably there before quite some time before the events that took place with you guys. This blood has been here for a little over, at this point, 24 hours, or yeah, about a little over 20 hours.
Wow.
Oh, so
that
it's
would put
probably
it
still
back
from
to
the murder.
Yeah, well, it is from the murder, but that would put it back to earlier than when the attempt occurred on you guys.
Yeah.
And it could have been much earlier in the evening at that point as well.
Are the Vinnies just outside of where we're standing?
The Vinnies are all kind of like, they're looking like they're minding their business.
But they are wandering around.
Yeah.
So if I took and just started looking around the crowd, now what do I see?
With the monocle on,
Yeah.
you see a bunch of like just gray people.
So they are great. Okay.
Yep.
That doesn't help.
They're doing that thing where they're not really looking at us, but they're looking at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch them for long enough, you'll inadvertently catch the glance of one of them.
Okay, guys.
Some pretty sneaky characters around here, huh?
You do notice, though, I should say, you do notice that one of them has a little bit more definition to their gray. Like, most of the rest of the people, when you look at with this, they have just, like, this kind of flat gray, and it kind of, like, grays out their features as well. But one of them, the guy that you guys initially paid money to, that guy has a little bit more definition to how he looks.
Is it because of the money?
Oh, man.
Hard to say.
Well, you guys don't see
Because
this.
he exerts more influence over the world. Is
Yeah.
in reality what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. The
Could
only
be he
reason
knows a little. Go
I
ahead.
keep looking this monocle they gave us, right? This true sight thing. And I keep checking, and that's how I can see the bedroll, because the monocle lets me see things.
Is the monocle still on while you're talking to them?
Yes.
Okay, so you're looking at them like you see them in Discord right now.
And why do you have a beard?
Which one of us?
You, Meg.
And then they
I'm
like
not sure.
Alphine, don't
that-
laugh.
that
You're
starts
a lot
to kind of-
smaller than you should be.
that starts to kind of flicker back to their normal forms.
Okay.
She
I
checks
hate
her chin to make sure she's plucked everything. You know what I mean?
Okay. Candor is. Thank you, Candor. Okay. So, anyways, normally you guys have like this thing coming out of the back of your head and very vibrant colors around you. All
Why?
of them are just wait and listen to me. And all those over there, they're all kind of grayish. Okay. Now, remember a couple of days when we were in the restaurant and
Yeah.
the owner went by?
Yeah.
She was not. She had nothing. She was invisible. Entirely.
Hmm.
I couldn't see her with the monocle at all. Monocle lets me see things differently, and just now, all of you did not look like you, and you two didn't look anything like goblins.
What do you mean?
Pointing to
What do you mean? I look gray? One of the Vinnies comes over to you.
Hey,
Are we paying you?
No.
No, not your business. So,
Oh shit! Dismissed, everybody.
he kind of walks away dejectedly.
so I'm beginning to wonder because
These guys are crazy.
when what was his name? What was the guy who attacked us? His name? God, where did I put it?
Al?
Write it down.
Didn't you
Oh,
call
the
him
guy who
Chevy Bin
attacked
Laden?
us. Not Chevy Bin Laden, the guy who was riding.
Chevy Bin Laden.
The guy who was writing.
Yeah, the guy Chevy was riding.
The guy who was riding Chef. Oh, no.
The guy who tried to kill me.
Oh, I didn't give you his name
Oh,
because he died before
We
you got
couldn't-
his name.
no, we get taken away by the guards.
Oh, that's right.
We brought him to the
Sorry,
end.
in my head, I remember. You're correct. You did
Oh my
turn
god,
him
his
over to the
name
guards.
was. Oh shit! I actually remember. I got his. It was. Oh shit!
Why
Oh,
don't?
can't
here it is.
remember.
My note card. Where's my note card?
Yeah, I hope you have
Here
it
it
because
is.
it's not in my notes. I did not write that down.
No. Gaspar? No, not Gaspari. Gaspari.
Yeah,
was
that's
one of our-
that's the guy who came with the note and told you about who to
He's
trust.
one of our paid Vinnies.
It was an Estancia or something like.
I'm very annoyed I didn't put down the guy's name. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Anyway, that name is not entirely important.
Ah, Elidoro.
There it is.
There
yeah,
you go.
Ella-
Yep.
Elidoro.
His name is not particularly important though, but I will put
I know
that.
his name's not important. Done role playing.
Yeah, I know.
But
God damn it,
Elidoro,
Google
when he
Keep.
was being ridden, looked different than they do. He didn't look like us, but he looked different than them.
Was he gray?
No, it was different. It's hard to describe. He just didn't look like them. Like that guy there, he's gray but cleaner. I don't know why that guy is. I'm pointing to the guy you guys paid.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to know a little bit more. Maybe it's because he's smarter.
I don't know, but I do know that when Elidoro was being ridden, he looked different. When Chevy came out of him, he went back to looking more gray. I'm thinking we can use this to maybe track the demons?
Maybe. I thought you were just wearing the monocle to be stylish.
No, it was a magic item. They gave it to us. He told us what it was. It was part of the shopping list. Remember?
Oh. Yes. I'm just gonna say.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so
So, what?
do
So
we need to-
what did we find? We found. What did you find in their tents? Wine and daggers. You said.
hmm and extra dimensional rope tricks.
Could we take the wine and daggers to the church and have them voodoo them or something?
The wine is disgusting but ordinary.
I know, but they were a possession, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't know
Well,
anything
maybe-
about.
Well, maybe we want to take it to a wine guy instead. Like maybe they can tell us where this wine came from.
Okay, that's a start.
Vintner, I believe
just
is the term.
I mean, it's either that or go back to. We got to try and track like Al, and where Al came from. And if we can find where Al came, I don't know, maybe find where these guys are coming from.
Did we hit all the tents, Senior D?
You hit all the tents that were relevant to this crime.
We can't.
The
open
rest of the
other-
people don't want to let you in their tent. They're not going to let you investigate their tent.
Can we pick up? these
Especially after
bedrolls?
you called all of them gray.
Well, they bought fancy shirts. They're not gonna like.
No, these ones don't have fancy shirts. They got those
that's
fancy shirts. Anyone that had the fancy shirt got their fancy shirt taken away.
That's why they're so upset.
Civil forfeiture.
Nice. So Tom, that bedroll with the magic on, does it move?
The ones inside were non-magical. The outside ones, no, they're like attached to the houses.
To the tent.
Anchored.
Because you can lift up the tent and it lifts up with the tent. When you looked under the tent, you didn't see the magic underneath.
Yeah.
Is the tent collapsible?
Yeah, it looks like a regular tent.
Could we take the tents?
It's what size is the tent? Because is it
the Vinnies really don't want you to take the tents now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're probably not gonna.
They really want to keep those tents.
We can pay them for the tent.
We can just buy another.
They're excited about this paying them for the tent. All the Vinnies like suddenly gather around and they're like putting out their hand. Yeah. How much?
Right. Which Vinnies are we gonna pay?
How much?
The leader. No, the makeshift leader.
Let's pay the dead ones. Won't be hard to get the money back from them.
I think we deserve something. Otherwise, we ain't exactly birds, but we all know how to whistle.
I'm
I think that was a vague threat.
I
Yeah.
I was absolutely confused.
I'm just looking up how much a tent is supposed to cost.
Well, do we really want to? And as I whisper to the group, do we really want to give tents with extra dimensional space to the Vinnies?
No, we're paying them to take so that we can take the tent.
So we're taking all three.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got extra dimensional spaces in them. That's pretty fucking toten. And they don't know they have extra dimensional spaces in them, so we're really getting them for a fucking bargain.
Okay. All right. So.
What size tents are these? Large, you said?
These are just regular small tents.
Small tents. Okay.
Yep. Designed to hold one person.
Oh wow!
So
I had something else in mind. Yeah.
Small tents market value is like 10 gold. So, do we want to give them like 30 gold?
We want to give them 40 gold. We want to engender good feelings, right?
Yeah. Here's a 10 gold tip for calling you gray.
Yeah. We use the Vinnies a lot, so I'd like to keep them. I'd like to keep them positively disposed to us.
You know what? I will pay it out of my gold.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll pay the 40 out of my gold if the Vinnies will take it.
Yeah. No, they'll split it amongst each other.
I'd like specifically to own one of the
say,
tents.
man, it's sad they cheated us out of 3 tents. We could have used some extra tents. Could have had like a cooking tent and whatever. But those.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Those guards took those tents out of here.
I don't know where the tents were, and I think the guards took them.
Galfine, do you want to add this to your inventory, or do you want me to carry some of them?
Yeah, they're
'Cause they're gonna be heavy.
20 pounds each.
Oh yeah, I can't carry one of those.
Yeah, I could probably carry them. So they're small tent.
Yep, you got 3 small tents.
They're pup tents.
Well, we just got to get them somewhere. Then we can
Each of them actually weigh only 10 pounds.
Wow, snazaroo.
Well, good.
Well, in
You could
order
have indoor
to
camp outs,
enchant a tent, you have to make it masterwork.
along with snacks, we can go glamping.
Glamping. All right. So you got the tents. What is the plan from here?
Oh wait, plan?
You got the tents.
Well, I want there was a suggestion of going to the temple, and then I had recommended that we go talk to the wine dude.
Go try to find somebody who knows about wine.
I know a guy.
Okay.
He may or may not know anything about goblin wine.
All right. Who are you gonna go see?
The guy that I made make the shitty wine pour through my food.
Oh Lord.
All right. So you're gonna head over to the cantina.
It's gonna go well.
Or no, not to the cantina.
No, that
this
was
is
the wine. It was
yeah,
the wine
this was
place.
the wine
The
place.
wine
Yep.
place. Yeah.
You head on over to the place, and as soon as you come in, the guy kind of groans. Here we go.
I have a question.
Yes.
You told me the
Warning
goblins
contains
don't
action
make
release.
wine.
No, they don't make
didn't-
wine.
Okay, then what are these? And I put both the bottles on the counter.
We have 3 bottles.
All 3 bottles. Sorry.
He picks up one of them and sniffs it. Oh,
You're
It
It's
telling
smells
me I
better
drank-
than the stuff I had you make for me.
I don't think it does. Oh, God. He curiously sticks a finger in. Oh God, that's terrible.
Just like this mead I tried recently.
just like this what?
This mead
Whitney's
I had
talking
tried
shit about my
recently.
mead. Oh,
Tasted like a dirty boot.
this is.
I believe that's the brand. Dirty Boot Mead.
Who would? No one would drink this. This is hideous. This is worse
I
than
drank it.
most of the stuff I've had orcs come in and drink.
So no idea where this might have come from.
It'd have to
Who
be
might have
some
made
really low quality place. Somewhere that we probably wouldn't even carry on the shelf.
Can you think of a name?
If you go real deep into some of the more questionable parts of the territory, you'll find yourself some places where breweries happen or not breweries. I guess what's the wineries?
Vineyard.
Yeah, well, vineyards. It's really wineries because they're the
Right.
vineyards aren't really here. They have to import all the grapes. You'll find some wineries where is it grapes they're using? Is it something that's just kind of found on the ground, but it's been sitting around for long enough that it'll, take the day away? You know what I mean?
Yep.
I do.
But you gotta travel quite a ways in. And I wouldn't go there myself. At least not without a handful of swords at my side.
Well,
Deep in the mountain, he said?
No, deep in the territory. So he means deep in the blade territory. They're the kind of places where the guards don't usually wander. And when they're called out there, they usually don't stick around for very long.
They use a special crystal method of brewing this wine.
There's only a few
Probably.
places that are probably doing it though. You'll know them when you see them. They'll have wine signs or other drink signs out on the door or the wall, and it won't. You'll know it. You really can't miss it. Ask around there. Bring the bottles with you. I'm sure somebody will tell you it's theirs.
sure you don't want me to leave one for you so you can resell it?
To who?
Maybe I don't know. I'll send some customers your way.
Don't.
Maybe you get a customer that's, looking to kill themselves through drink.
I mean, for some people, booze is booze.
Well, there you go.
This isn't booze. I drank.
So I'll leave this here as a tip.
Thanks.
Thanks for the information. I take the other 2 bottles.
Okay.
That's awful.
All right.
That's like the
All right,
worst.
so
tip.
before we go, what sort of wines do you have that would impress a house guest?
What kind of house guest?
Like a business meeting.
Red or white?
The business class wine.
Yeah, business class one. Red.
He turns and he pulls something at about the 100 gold for a bottle mark, and sets it down on the table.
Right.
This should be a nice starting piece.
Right, all
We're
price.
gonna. Yep. It seems like a fair price. And he won't uncork it for you, but he has like another one that's opened, and he'll like pour a small amount and cork it. Now it's been open for a while, so it's not going to smell or taste quite the same. But it'll be much better when you get the real thing open.
All right, so like he gave me a little small amount to sample. That's
yeah,
what
it's a very slim sample.
Yeah, so I'll do that. Same as before. I'll swish it around and then spit.
It is very good. It's very, very sweet. And I think as a goblin, normally your palate isn't necessarily going to be like a big fan of sweet. You know, bitter and kind of crunchy things are fun.
Here, one second.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that. Anne
okay.
Anne came by and asked me.
And it doesn't have like that kind of moldy taste to it, but it's pretty good, even for missing that.
Okay, and it seems to me like it might be impressive.
Yeah.
Like, all right, yeah, I'll pick that up.
Okay.
Who are you trying to impress?
Anything I should call it?
I don't have a name offhand. At some point, I really do want to finish making a wine list.
All right, I'll just write impressive wine on my.
That
How about impressive vineyards?
That will give you the equivalent of a +3 bonus to a diplomacy check when used.
Okay, and that was 100.
Wait, that's
gold.
better than the wine you sold me.
Was it yours 50?
I don't remember. I had +1 to all social interactions.
Yeah, I think yours was 50.
All right, you said +3 to diplomacy.
Yes.
Okay. No one in particular. We just might need it at some point. And I'll slip it
I'm
into
feeling
my
jaunty.
bag.
I'm going to ask for a wine that goes with chocolate-dipped pretzels.
He has a few options. If you want something to complement the chocolatey flavor, he recommends something smooth with vanilla notes. So he'll recommend to you a Riesling that has some notes of vanilla in it.
All right. I'm on for it. We're going to have some glamping with chocolate-covered pretzels and indoor tents, and it's going to be a good time.
All right. He will sell that to you for 10 gold.
All right. I'll buy it. And then I'm going to have to ask somebody to carry it for me.
I love Max carrying capacity.
Anything over 5 pounds, I cannot carry.
How heavy do you think this wine is?
It's about a pound, so.
Right.
Okay. I'm like, boy, this bottle is fucking heavy. If I give you some Galfine, will you carry this for me?
8 strength is fantastic.
I suppose. It's not like I'm already carrying 3 small tents.
Galfine, aka Nodwick.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Good
So
old
what
Nodwick.
should I call this wine?
Chocolate Riesling. Or, I'm sorry, vanilla Riesling.
It'll be good when we have chocolate.
Riesling. R-I-N-G.
Is that
You
what
said
Riesling
that way
is
too
for?
fast.
Huh?
Is that what Riesling is for? Is it a dessert wine?
Riesling is not always a dessert wine. There are dessert Rieslings.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna guess on how to spell it.
That's not me that's hitting your ear. That's the cable.
Is she still in your lap?
She's still in my lap, and she was doing pretty well, but then, like, the cable brushed her ear, and I set my arm down on the armrest. Okay, nope, that's not cool. I'm not the one doing it, so you can either calm down, and we can sit here together, or you can get out of my lap. You gonna calm down? Thank you.
I believe Hazel is giving you the same answer cats give all questions.
Stop talking to me, human. I'll do whatever I want.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So yeah. So anybody else want to pick up any other wines before?
Do you have any juice that's not wine?
No. Sorry, miss.
That was almost dismissive. No, take your juice from my shop.
But isn't wine made from juice? So why don't you have the juice?
That's not how this building works, miss. I'm sorry.
But he can pour alcohol through a boot for you.
Was that the cat?
She just tried to grab a hold of the door handle.
Oh.
Damn.
She is
She's
going
learning.
to learn how to open this door.
I mean, it is possible.
Cats do learn that kind of stuff. That cat's gonna learn how to open that door, and then that house is gonna be hers.
Oh.
All right. Well, we've gathered some wine.
Yeah. If nobody's picking up, I need to close this because otherwise I'll go really bad. If nobody's gonna pick up any extra wine, we can sort of wrap it up from here.
Okay.
It is almost 10 o'clock, and that is usually our wrap up time.
Coolio.
So I will go ahead and toss out some XP. You guys are continuing on the quest quite well, so go ahead and take 300 experience for that,
Yeah.
and 200 for role playing. Tom, I'm going to give you 50 for being willing to climb into that bag without thinking about it.
Nice.
I think putting yourself at personal risk is well worth 50 XP. Because there could have been anything on the other end of the bag.
I mean, I was thinking it might have been a bag of devouring, yeah.
Oh, no.
But I figured it would have grabbed onto my legs first, so that's why.
It would have been a little bit more dramatic.
And then, Tom, you also had the idea to go look into the wine, so I'll give you another 50 XP for that.
All right.
Meg, go ahead and take 50 for having the idea to follow up with the clergy about whether or not these two quests are linked.
Nice. How much did we get at the beginning, Steve?
It was 500 total.
Okay.
200 for roleplay, 300 for progressing.
Take me to church.
And I think that'll do it. I'm trying to think of whether or not there was anything else that I'm
50
forgetting.
XP for James for the adventure of Where is James for half the
No. I don't think James is gonna get 50 XP for having to sit around for an hour and a half waiting for his ability to play the game.
Does Akunsaunt have a horseshoes league? I think it's what we need to set up.
Somebody might have to set that up. What?
Patience.
Yes.
Should get XP for
No.
patience.
Patience is its own reward.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. If you can learn to be patient, life becomes much easier.
Is Hazel
is that
up
the
to
thing
third
you're
level then?
working
'Cause
on?
she seems
No.
to be playing with us.
Yeah, you want to know how much of its own reward is? Standing in line at Walmart for 45 minutes.
That's
Its patience, its own reward, right?
That's your own fault for being at Walmart. I know in Lansing there's no more places to shop, but
No, because we opened a Walmart.
yep.
When Target had its first, Thanksgiving thing in the middle of the night for Christmas, I actually lined up with Baby Maxwell to see what that was. And they gave us like a bag with a bunch of garbage that made the stuff like you get from Gen Con seem cool. And then like it was like sheer chaos, and I remember leaving without buying anything. And who knew by today's standards that would be tame.
Those books though have a legendary 5% discount off of used stuff.
Yes. Stuff you would not buy.
All right. Are we on for next week?
I am on for next week.
I do not have my schedule for next Sunday, and with the job change, I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
But I think I'm supposed to be doing the host job for the last time next weekend, so I should be here
Okay.
an hour late like normal, but I don't have the schedule yet, so I can't say with 100% certainty.
Okay, keep me posted if anything changed, but we'll then assume that we're on for next week.
Yep.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Then, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good night.
Good night, everybody.